What's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video on Bitcoin. We're gonna see if the price chart, how that's shaping up, and how it is following our recent lines put on there, as well as the fundamentals, how they're looking, where it's moving, and even the leverage market, seeing what that's doing. But before we get into all that, if you're not subscribed, make sure to smash that sub button because we're going to do 1,000 subscribers. But let's jump right into this price chart here. We can see Bitcoin at $41,343, hovering around this range. It's having a red day, down 2% today, but ultimately, we look at these lines that we drew before, and I called it a little bit here, saying we could break out below this, come right back in, and kind of make our way to the top. What has happened countless times before in Bitcoin is a fake out. So we can see this next day, if we break out of this channel here, people all freak out. Maybe we go to $37,000 and bounce off of this to come back into it and then rally up and break out of it. That's what we've seen lots and lots of times in Bitcoin. And I don't know if you would exactly call this a breakout, but it's below the line, ended up coming back in above the line and rallying higher. So we're kind of following this line straight up as a nice little support area here. And obviously we haven't came up to the top here yet, but that sits at about, today would be 44,841. Tomorrow it comes down a little bit, about $100 comes down, and it's going to continue moving down until we get to this point, and we want to see, does it move up or move down at that intersection? Like we've always seen, Bitcoin can fake out, it can break down and come right back in and break up, or it can break up, come right back in and break down. So it can do either. But I think that the vast majority of bad news that the market's going to be scared of, that's going to make things bad, is behind us. We don't have a ton of catalysts here to kind of propel fear into the market, make people more fearful. I think the majority of that is behind us. So we'll see tomorrow how the stock market opens. If it opens green and trying to move up and, being like a decent market day, then we probably see Bitcoin flip around and recover a little bit. But I have also seen Bitcoin lead the market. So on days like today, if Bitcoin's red going into the market week or the trading week, then the week usually opens red. And I mean, we'll see if that stays true. But we've seen both types of things happen. So I do think the majority of fear is just behind us. So we don't have really not really paying attention to the Russia Ukraine stuff anymore. I mean, people, it's been priced into the market. The market gets over things pretty quickly. Oil had its time, skyrocketed, came down, moving up a little bit right now, but that again is an event that already happened, already got priced in, and we kind of are moving on past it. So I don't think there's much more events to be priced in here. And if you zoom down on Bitcoin here, this guy has a little price chart here. I think this is a weekly candles, could be wrong, but saying wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin back at all-time highs within 10 weeks from now. And his chart just has these kind of top line, bottom line. And you see running up to the top, this is around the 60K, coming back down 29, going back up, making a new higher high, barely, but it did, and then come back down, making a new higher low here, and then where we stand right now. Are we gonna bounce back up to the top to like 70, probably 72, maybe 76,000, like the high end, and come back down to 44,000, stuff like that? If we follow this pattern going up and down, could be a thing that happens, but it's all depending more on the market sentiment than it is on price charts and things shaping up. Because if the market is super fearful and continues to be fearful, then big moves up just probably aren't going to happen. But fear could be completely behind us, and these big moves up could be complete possibility. And also, we've got the hash rate, always looking at the hash rate, and we finally broke this downtrend for hash rate. So we see up here 214 fell down and continued kind of moving down here, and right now looks like we're seeing a little move up in hash rate finally. And hash rate sometimes can be used as a way to see short term where the price is going for Bitcoin. So if we see this move down here and it's moving up, had a little move down and another move up, maybe that's what we see on Bitcoin here. This move down A little move up here, kind of moving down again. We'd probably need to zoom in a bit just to kind of get a better picture of it. Just seeing, let's move up. We had the little move down. And do we move back up trying to get, back into 45K area, back to basically the top red line here, which at 45K would break out of the top here and we could break out and come back in, or break out, retest, and see it actually break out from this wedge. Kind of a short-term indicator. If we see the price or the hash rate moving up, the price tends to follow it sometimes. So we'll can keep an eye on that. It's always good to see the hash rate recovering, moving up. Even if we go to raw values, we can see from this high, it was a pretty big downtrend, just kind of moving down, not really doing anything, move sideways, and now we have a little bit of an uptrend. So good. It's always good. The hash rate, we're not expecting it to fall or go into a downtrend or anything. It seems like it's just going to continue growing. It's going to have times where it goes up, times where it comes down, but over even if you just consider weeks long term, it's going to continue moving higher and higher. So that's good for Bitcoin, good for the network. That's a fundamental that is just overall good for Bitcoin. And this graphic right here just solves some of Bitcoin's problems that people always hark on with Bitcoin. Always talking about it's not scalable, can't do this, can't do that. And that's the biggest thing people hark on is scalability and the energy, which is complete just FUD with the energy if you actually dig into mining and the green energy majority that the mining uses. But we could see from this transactions per second, Lightning is by far the most. It doesn't even come close with anything else here. And Visa, obviously a main payment method we use today, every single day. You probably pay with a Visa card all the time. Lots of people do. And it does not even come close to what Lightning can handle at 40 million transactions a second. Visa's 24,000. So that's the scalability problem solved. It is a layer 2. It works outside of layer 1 Bitcoin, but it's still a scalability solution to Bitcoin. Still works on Bitcoin. It's all intertwined with Bitcoin. So Lightning has been doing great things. Jack Mallers on Strike pushing this forward. The API, it's on Twitter. We've got obviously countries using it. El Salvador uses the Lightning Network to pay for things. It's growing exponentially. And you can see this graph from Michael Saylor. You do not sell your Bitcoin, which I agree with, but you can see kind of saying periods of positive returns and negative returns. And just this kind of shows the longer you hold on to Bitcoin, the vast majority more likely you are to be positive returns. So if you're looking at it from just an investment point of view, the longer you hold on to it, the better chance you have of being positive in ROI. So you're going to make money the longer you hold on to it. And this has been kind of a thing of Bitcoin for a long time now, saying if you hold on at least 4 years, you're almost guaranteed to make money on your Bitcoin. And with Bitcoin breaking away from 4-year cycles, I think it's completely reasonable to think that it's going to be shorter now, where you're not going to have to hold on for 4 years or go through a 2-3 year bear market in the crypto winter. You're just going to have periods of time where Bitcoin goes down if the market's down and Bitcoin kind of trades freely. And then when the market's up, Bitcoin can go up, but you're just going to have a little bit more correlation with the stock market, but it's still going to be fairly uncorrelated and moving on, demand of people. And we see demand skyrocketing all the time. And to finish this off, the leverage market of Bitcoin. We saw earlier before a skyrocket in shorts around 39K. That skyrocket happened, and it was very short-lived. We can see right here. This is where it's 1565 Bitcoin short, ran all the way to over 5,000 Bitcoin short, stayed there for a couple of days, like 3 days, 4 days max, and then fell off a cliff and went below. It was 15, 16, 11, say around 1,500 Bitcoin before the spike. Now after it, we're at 1,000, just barely over 1,000, could be breaking into triple digits of shorts. Just seeing that it's not long last. People want to bet against Bitcoin, but they really don't want to hold it for a long period of time. These shorts do not last long, and if they open up, you see it closed as soon as the price started to rally back to where they bought their shorts at. So the shorts, just nobody really wants to bet against Bitcoin. So in the short period of time, we'll be looking for Bitcoin to stay in its wedge, these lines that we have, trying to get to 45K and break above that to have a breakout out of these lines. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. This is all short-term things. Long-term, hash rate's great, adoption's great. Lightning is completely solving all scalability issues that you could think of with Bitcoin, and things are looking good for the long term, even medium term, and breaking away from 4-year cycles. So Bitcoin looks good on every front, really. But that's going to do it for this video. As always, I'm going to smash the like button and subscribe on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next video.